How to protect your children in a limitless digital world. Imagine it for a moment. Your child is in their room with the door closed. From the outside, everything seems normal. Maybe you hear soft laughter, the sound of a video, or simply silence. You think, they're entertained, there's no problem. But on the other side of that door, on a small screen, something very different could be happening. Something you can't see or control. Today, our children have access to more information than ever before in history. They hold the world in the palm of their hand, and while that can be an incredible source of learning, it can also be an open door to real, silent, and profound risks. From explicit sexual content and graphic violence to interactions with strangers or participation in dangerous challenges, the line between fun and insecurity can blur with a single click. And here you are, a loving, committed parent who wants to do the right thing. You know you can't simply take away their phone or disconnect the internet. That's not the world we live in. You know there's some kind of parental control, that there are tools out there that promise to help you. But which one to choose? Which one really works without invading? Which one adapts to your family, to your reality? Maybe you've asked yourself questions like, am I doing enough to protect my children online? How can I know if they are seeing or talking to someone dangerous? Is there a tool that can help me without destroying our trust? Today, we are going to explore together the real risks our children are exposed to, the signs we often overlook, and most importantly, how you can act from love, prevention, and conscious protection. Because protecting them is not controlling them, it's accompanying them, guiding them, and staying one step ahead before it's too late. The silent dangers on the internet. Imagine this. Your child is watching videos on their tablet while you prepare dinner. They are cartoons with friendly voices and bright colors. But with just one more swipe of the finger, without even searching for it, a video with sexual language, violent scenes, or content designed for adults appears. There are no barriers, no real warnings, just an algorithm that suggests the next, and the next. And that's where it all begins. Explicit sexual content at the reach of a click. Although there are age restrictions on many platforms, the reality is that millions of children access material unsuitable for their emotional development daily. Whether out of curiosity, error, or the influence of others, they may come across videos with sexual connotations disguised as animations, suggestive images on social media, direct messages with intimate content from strangers. This type of exposure can alter their perception of their own body, of love, and of human relationships, sowing confusion, shame, and fear at a stage where they should be learning from trust and support. Harassment and cyberbullying. You can't see. What used to happen in the schoolyard now happens silently, from a screen. Cyberbullying has become one of the main causes of anxiety, depression, and isolation among children and adolescents. Insults in private messages, mockery in public posts, exclusion from groups or chats, spreading photos or personal information without consent. The problem is that this type of aggression doesn't leave visible bruises, but it does leave deep emotional wounds. And often, the fear of telling makes children face this pain alone, in silence. Strangers, disguised as friends. One of the most chilling and sadly common risks is the presence of digital predators, adult individuals who pretend to be children to gain the trust of minors. Their goal, to manipulate them emotionally, get photos, private information, or even incite them to real-life encounters. They present themselves as someone their age. They make them feel special, listened to, loved. Then they blackmail, manipulate, or threaten them. This type of interaction can destroy a minor's self-esteem. Often, out of shame or fear, they don't share it with their parents until it's too late. Viral challenges and self-harm. Social media is also fertile ground for dangerous trends. From challenges that promote substance use, suffocation, injuries, or tests of courage, to communities that encourage eating disorders or self-harm. Challenges that require self-harm. Accounts that glorify extreme thinness. Forums where suicide is discussed as a valid option. The pressure to belong, insecurity, and the lack of adult guidance can lead children and adolescents down dark paths. And when that happens, parents are often the last to know. Warning signs that often go unnoticed. As parents, we want to believe that if something bad happened to our child, they would come running to tell us. that they would trust us, that we would notice immediately if something was wrong. But the truth is more complex. Children and adolescents often don't know how to put their feelings into words, and other times they are simply afraid of disappointing you or of you reacting badly. That's why many parents don't notice what's happening until the damage is already done. Therefore, paying attention to the small signs can make the difference between preventing and regretting. Sudden changes in mood or behavior. Your child used to be sociable, talkative, and now they are withdrawn, irritable, more anxious than usual. It might seem like just a phase, or the classic, they're growing up. But often, these changes are linked to what's happening in their digital world. Common signs: loss of interest in activities they previously enjoyed, changes in sleep patterns, sleeping too much or too little, increased irritability, tantrums, or isolation for no apparent reason, secretiveness with phone or computer. It's not about invading their privacy, but about noticing when that need for privacy becomes extreme. Signs that could indicate something more. They get upset if you touch their phone or look over their shoulder. They quickly turn off the screen when you approach. They constantly delete browsing history or messages. Changes in self-esteem or self-perception. Filters, social comparisons, and pressure to belong on social media can seriously damage a child's or adolescent's self-esteem. Signs that could indicate exposure to bullying, harassment, or social pressure. They seem uncomfortable with their body or appearance. They start talking negatively about themselves. They become obsessed with looking good or fitting in. Recurrent physical ailments without apparent cause. Anxiety and digital stress can manifest in children's bodies. Common physical symptoms: frequent headaches, stomach aches before going to school, constant fatigue without a clear medical reason. These are indirect ways of saying, something is not right. The body speaks when the mind cannot. Emotional disconnection from family. When a child is dealing with difficult situations online, such as bullying, inappropriate content, or social pressure, they tend to distance themselves from those who love them most. Behaviors you should observe: lack of interest in sharing their day with you, monosyllabic or evasive answers, loss of emotional bond with parents. It's not about being paranoid, but about being aware. These signs on their own don't always indicate a serious problem. But when they are repeated or combined, it is essential to pay attention and act with empathy. As parents, emotional presence is key. But it's also true that you can't be everywhere or read between the lines all the time. So, how can you take control and protect your children? Many parents feel they only have two options: be permissive and trust blindly, or become a kind of 24/7 digital police. But today, there is a third option, a solution that gives you control without taking away their freedom. That keeps you informed without breaking the bond of trust. That solution is Bark Parental Control. What is Bark and why is it revolutionizing the way we care for our children? Bark is a parental control tool created by parents, for parents. But unlike many others, it is not designed to spy, but to protect. It works like a silent digital assistant, which analyzes in the background what your children do, say, and see on their devices, without invading their privacy or creating unnecessary conflicts. Here's why Bark is the ideal option. It detects what you can't see in real time. Bark uses artificial intelligence to monitor more than 30 platforms where children often spend their time: social media, text messages, emails, YouTube, and more. But it's not limited to keywords. It detects language related to bullying, grooming, sexting, suicidal ideation, violence, or drug use, and sends you alerts only when necessary. Real example: if your child receives messages that suggest bullying or threats, you will receive a notification so you can intervene immediately with empathy and strategy. It helps establish healthy boundaries with screen time. Bark not only detects risks, it also allows you to regulate the time your children spend online, set usage schedules, and even block specific content or applications. You will no longer have to fight about turning off the phone at dinner or bedtime. The limits are preset, and Bark respects them for you. Visualize it: a routine where your children disconnect on time, without drama, without arguments, without cheating. You regain calm, they regain balance. It fosters dialogue and trust with your children. Bark is a great facilitator to build dialogue channels with your children. It's not about spying, but about anticipating the problem before it becomes a crisis. Each alert is an opportunity to talk to your child with respect and support, to teach them to make better decisions, to remind them that you are there without judging but caring. Protecting is not controlling, it's supporting with intelligence. Today more than ever, parents need support. Digital parenting doesn't come with a manual. Risks evolve quickly, and our children, even if they don't say it, expect us to be there when they need us most. With Bark, you are not alone. You have a reliable, sensitive, intelligent tool aligned with the values of modern parenting. Click now on the link in the description and discover all that Bark can do for you and your family. Installing Bark is easy. Getting started is fast. But the impact it will have on your peace of mind and the emotional security of your children can last a lifetime. Because the digital world has no doors. But you can install smart locks. Thanks for watching.